Okay, folks, here we are, game 2. And Nikov is playing as the Goths, and the big story with this map and the Goths is you're going to see laming attempts right away. Nikov is going to bring in 2 boars. It's a race to the boars here. And Nikov has the other boar headed back this direction. Veleza sees that as well, and that's a weak villager, so Nikov has to be careful. But I had some things I wanted to say. I really have no time to do it on this map because, again, it's always just a race to bringing in the boars. Nikov almost had 2 boars. Like, that one boar just ran back. So if he were to not get this one, that would be brutal for him. I think he's just going to kill it out here now. I think he's trying to block with the horse. And because of the Goth bonus damage, if he can't have it, he just wants to make sure it dies out here. And that's exactly what happens for Nikov. Still has this one, but he hasn't scouted that area. And now he's walling in this villager to kill off this one. So, Veleza could struggle a lot here. Remember, Goth hunt lasts longer. So, that's a good thing for Nikov with any boars that he does get. And he still has 3 boars along the backside. Veleza's only brought in 2. And won't really be able to bring in any more. So... Does this map gives you flashbacks, T90? Every time, Adam. Every time, dude. What crazy, crazy games we had on this map in USA Cup. I lost like 4 villagers in Dark Age. Well, it depends on which game. I don't even know which game you're referring to, Adam. I remember a game against, shoot. Why am I forgetting his name right now? American player who's obsessed with the Franks. Come on. What's his name? Well, that could be a lot of American players. The name will come to mind, but yeah. Nice to see you, dude. Now, Veleza walks around with his horse. Is going to see these these boars. Of course, when it's an elephant, I say boar, and when it's a boar, I say elephant. But I don't know if he could justify going out there to take him. And here, Veleza and Nikov trying to get as much as they can of the food. It's been a messy one, which is exactly what the Goths want. And I think that's smart. I think this is an underrated thing. Too many players just don't walk out here and take the food. If you've been lamed, you have to take what you can still. I'm a little surprised that Nikov wasn't fighting back with the villagers initially. Because I think, again, that's what the Goth player would maybe want. But Nikov has the other boars back here, which is maybe why he wouldn't want to fight with villagers. Yeah, it was Hamza. Hamza's the guy who I played in a best of 3 on this map. It's been a while. What do you guys think about this idea? A USA tournament called Who is Number 2? Because everyone knows, as far as the American scene goes, that Daniel is number 1. So anytime there's been a USA tournament, it's just been like, well, whoever matches up against Daniel gets wrecked. But if you do who is number 2, it maybe gets a little bit more interesting. There was a tournament called Who is Number 2 because Viper was winning everything. And it was never close. So that happened in like, I don't know what year that was, but that happened in the past for the whole scene. I think it's a decent idea. Mainly because I don't want to run into Daniel. So I think Nikov accomplished as much as he could have really asked for here. He had a big lead with the boar count, and he should have more resources to work with. But Byzantines are a dangerous civilization for the Goths the longer this goes. Just gotta see, can Veleza get a decent enough feudal age time off this? He doesn't have a lot of food underneath the TC. Had he not walked out to take this boar, it would have been a problem. But he's adapted very well. Let's see. He's got 87 food, and he needed 79 food. You've got to be kidding me. Talk about calculated there from Veleza. Great adaptation. Holy. But does he know, though, that Nikov has a barracks behind his base and is going to go man-at-arms, though? This is what we saw in the other series. Only this time, Nikov has such a big lead with food income underneath his TC. So he's got the potential to do this. And he's got Veleza in an awkward spot economically. I want to see... oh, hold on. Missed something. I heard an attack. Oh, okay. Just the horse went down there. I wanted to see res collected here. So Nikov's collected 300 more food. Yeah, so that's to be expected here at this point. Nikov's still finishing off the pigs as well, and Veleza hasn't had them for some time. And Veleza has no clue. He has no clue that Nikov is here with 4 militia. This is brutal for Veleza. He actually deletes the mill, and he's got to back away here. And this is all before this becomes man-at-arms. A lot of players wouldn't try and engage before man-at-arms, but I like this from Nikov because there's no scout or anything for Veleza to use. It's purely villagers, and there's lots of hills involved. And under pressure, Veleza gets some perfect quick walls down, but eventually he's going to chop through these trees. This is not going to be a great position for him. I'd like to see Nikov build an archery range, and he immediately places the archery range behind. Man, guys, Argentina got completely wrecked in the first game. Is not good. And Nikov has been a player who sometimes has let the pressure get to him, right? Imagine the feeling of like, I need to win this. I have to play my best. If I don't, I'm failing my country. It could get to you, and it could affect how well you play the game. But Nikov is just played flawlessly here. Perfectly according to game plan. Constantly active here with this horse as well. We'll see the range from Veleza. At the same time, amazing job from Veleza. Like, I think everyone watching this would have just died already. And it would not have been pretty. Still, he only lost his horse. He protects his wood line with the tower. And he's still in this game. He didn't skip any eco upgrades, which Nikov had to do to dish out this pressure. And even though he can't take his deer, even though his wood line's kind of rough, he's still in this game. And Byzantines are no joke. So, skirmishers behind this from Nikov. He didn't want to go archers because he knew the Byzantine player would probably go for skirms. And he's just looking to pile on the pressure. Now, there's one aspect of the map that I think the Goths could still be taking advantage of, and that's the hunt. Like, there's hunt out here. Nikov isn't taking any of that. So, I think denying it from your opponent and taking it yourself is ideal. We haven't seen that yet, as Nikov's now going to drop a tower here. Now, remember, you only have 2 tiles of gold next to your TC. Nikov's tower isn't denying the gold, and it's not protecting his own gold. So we might look back to the fact that Nikov chose to build his tower here as an issue there. But he's really just trying to thwart Veleza's ability to take food and take any type of control he can over the middle of the map here. Veleza will lose the house. But Veleza still took some of the berries, and he's just going to end up farming over here now. So, let's see if Nikov notices the deer. This would be super lucky for him. To not scout it at all and find them immediately is huge. Veleza's held on. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he wants gold. Maybe he wants wood. He could find another wood line here. That's probably what he wanted. But he is going to take the hunt as well. And now there is the new lumber camp for Veleza. But it's right next to the archery range. So all the military production from Nikov is right on top of this, which is so annoying if you're Veleza. Because how are you supposed to go forward if you continuously have army production right next to your wood line here? Someone says graphics look so bad. I don't know how long you've been here or what games you like, but the graphics are much better than the earlier versions. This is the best we've got pretty much, dude. I think it looks amazing. But yeah, I imagine if graphics is your thing, maybe Age of Empires isn't the game for you. I don't know. I've had those comments from friends. Like, that game looks so old. The graphics are so bad. I love the graphics, man. I think it's great. I also love how Nikov is going to take down this range. That's probably what the tower was for, because you eliminate the skirm production if you take out that range. It's a really interesting approach. That's one way to beat Byzantine in the skirm war, is you just take their archery range down. Thing is, I also really like that Veleza is thinking about a tower here. Because then you don't have to respect this army production as much. But he doesn't have the tower yet. And this is still so much pressure from Nikov. And Nikov just will not stop. And I've seen better economies behind this. He doesn't have the mill on the deer. But he's just so focused on the attack all the time. And that's what Nikov is so good at, man. I think a lot of us got really used to the Definitive Edition graphics. If you go back and look at the classic graphics, they're actually very different. I say that classic graphics are really nostalgic for me, though. Like, if I load up a Fatslop game, I'm like, this takes me back to the good old days, you know? Veleza will get the tower down. Still somehow hasn't lost a villager this game, which is ridiculous. But Nikov has had the better economy setup overall. And Nikov's going to add a stable, mix in some scouts. There's a couple things Nikov could do a bit differently here. And then I think he can take this one. I think the mill needs to be up on the deer. Yep, that's the main thing. And then he just needs to focus with the rest of his vills around farming around the TC. Could always farm around the outside. And his archer range is not really going to be a factor anymore. Veleza's going to wall it in. But look at how inefficient Veleza's economy is back here. Look at the amount of buildings Nikov's built. He also got Town Watch, right? So look at all this vision. He's got all the vision on where his opponent will be and what his opponent will do. He's even going to build a house here. This house will give him vision over this area, too. And then Veleza's in the dark, and Veleza doesn't know there's scouts. He does react right away. I think he kind of sensed that this might be the next switch as well. But his skirms are going to get pushed back, and Nikov, again, continuing to pile on this pressure here. Perfect timing with the scout switch. Perfect execution of the strategy. It's the same matchup we saw in the first series today, but just very different results because Nikov has had a better Dark Age and has been perfect in the Feudal Age. And so I think now at this point, you might actually want to think about Castle Age. The scouts can still be microed this whole time. And, ooh, a tower. Remember, Nikov, he wasn't on stone to get another tower up. I think I have market events turned off. So, yeah, he had to buy the stone there because he had built the initial tower. So it was actually really valuable that he had the market at that time, because otherwise he could have been pushed off of the gold there. And well played from Nikov. He counter towers. So she should be able to push this tower down. The spears from Veleza are coming, but they shouldn't be able to fully support this. Actually, Nikov might need to garrison a couple more vills in his own tower. It's a little awkward here, but this tower for Veleza shouldn't do too much. What happens with the units in the walled-in archer range when ungarrisoned? If they're ungarrisoned, they get stuck on top of the range, so they can't move out of there. So they're still stuck in there. Sometimes you'll see players delete the archer range so they can move the units around, but again, they're still trapped. Veleza's still in this game. Nikov's had a lot of idle time over the last few moments. And there's a lot of spears there for Veleza. Like, this little trash army, if this could actually wander into the back of Nikov's eco, could be really problematic for Nikov. He did just find some stone, though, so he could always drop a tower somewhere. Veleza using the market. Nikov using the market. Nikov's killed 2 villagers this game. Resources collected is close. Veleza actually clicks up right before Nikov, and then there goes Nikov after that. So, Nikov still able to patrol around with these scouts looking for damage. I really like how he added another archer range for skirms, because you need something out there to kill the spears. But Nikov is very heavy on stone still. He's actually sending more villagers over to stone. So he wants a castle, and I believe a castle drop. I've seen it so many times where even if the units you're making out of the castle aren't that strong, just a castle in the middle of this map, it protects your TC and takes out your opponent's TC. It can end games before something like Huskarls come out. And now Nikov can see his opponent isn't on stone, so his opponent can't do the same. So that's all the more reason to consider it. And then if you want Huskarls, you'd normally be scared of Cataphracts, but if your opponent can't drop a castle, it's perfect. So Sick stuff, man. I think Nikov's approach is perfect. I think we'll still see a knight or two just to get some map control, but Veleza has stayed alive in this game, but he's struggled to get any type of counter damage as Nikov gets villager kill number 4 now. When Nikov is on point, he is so good, dude. I think a lot of viewers have maybe gotten used to the hype, and then sometimes Nikov isn't as consistent. But I felt like the last year or so, he's been a lot more consistent than maybe the year before. And, oh god, I'm so sorry, Nikov. We jinxed him a little bit there. But let's see the castle, and there's the castle! And there's nothing Veleza can do about that. Nikov's going to make sure he gets that up. And Veleza now is going to need to hold against Huskarls. You could maybe go for knights. You could maybe go for monks. But eventually, these farmers have to leave. The TC will go down, and that's going to be really nice for Nikov. What's the reasoning for playing Goths on this map? I mean, assuming you watch this whole game, there's a lot of aspects where only the Goths could specialize in, right? The villagers walking around early because of the instant loom. The villagers doing more damage against boars. The hunt lasting longer. All those things. You pretty much pick Goths for the Dark Age. Just the villager bonuses with the boars. And then, I mean, a lot of times on this map, we see lots of spearmen and skirmishers. And Huskarls, if you can get there, are perfect against that too, so. I think Goths are one of the best civs. Now, Nikov's got to sort out that economy. What's happening there? Clearly, he's looking at this area of his economy, but he's got a lot of idols he needs to fix. And the TC is going to go down. And we got a counterattack now from Veleza. There's a TC on the outside. So that should protect almost everything. It won't protect the gold for Nikov. And then Veleza's going to have some knights, and he's going to have some monks. I mean, Veleza can hold here. Veleza can hold, and Veleza actually has the possibility of doing damage with the counterattack because Nikov doesn't have monks or a TC here. And Nikov just gets the house walls up. Holy crap. It's actually perfect from Nikov. Very well played. As he ran in towards the monk, ran in towards the knights, and needs to back away towards his TC. So Veleza is somehow going to stabilize this. He's got 2 TCs back here. It's only going to be 2 because he's going to lose this one soon. But he's got monks, he's got knights, and he's got good TC positions. He's got stone, he's got gold. He's not going away quietly. And maybe, like, Byzantines are absolutely better than Goths the longer the game goes on, especially if a castle comes up. So, I think we have a really long game here, guys. Probably the longest Alpine game that we've seen in all the 1v1s so far in this tournament. Huskarls should be able to push most of that back. Nikov drops TC number 2. And Veleza, again, I have to give him a lot of credit for how he stayed alive in this game. But again, that's all he is doing. He has not been able to get much counter damage, and he needs to find counter damage. And that's easier said than done, obviously, against how Nikov has played this. Again, TC will go down, so just 2 TCs soon. Well, I guess 3 TCs for Veleza because he builds another one. Real quick, guys, I want to add the flags here because I think this looks much better. There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry we didn't have that. Now, I think a helpful addition for Nikov would maybe be some monks of his own. For snagging some relics, but just for healing your Huskarls and getting any conversions if knights come across the map. And as weird as it sounds, just because of how condensed his opponent's base is, it might be better for him to just chill out and not really create much more army here. That villager's just casually going to farm away. I think she's going to end up dying now. But yeah, I don't know if it helps you to make many more Huskarls right now and send it into the TCs and the monks. Huskarls could be needed back here, though. Here comes Veleza again, trying another counterattack. 20 more vills for Nikov. He's actually going to take out the blacksmith. I like that. Anytime you could take out your opponent's houses when they need pop space, or like blacksmith when they might eventually need upgrades. It's one of those things that if you can get away with it, it's kind of cheeky, right? Because for all we know, Veleza's not... He doesn't try and get the upgrades right now. But in a more critical moment, he tries to get it. And then he's like, crap, I don't have the blacksmith. And then he's off his timings. But I think Nikov needs to put an end to this. I thought he was going to kill this earlier. The Huskarls don't have any blacksmith upgrades. But still, 60 HP, 10 attack. There's only 2 knights in here. This should be a fight that Nikov wins. And I think, honestly, Veleza got way more value with this army than he could have ever expected. And Nikov's going to be happy to put an end to that. TC for Veleza. Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 4th TC, a 5th TC. Like, look at all the gold and stone around the map. There's resources everywhere. This is going to be a sick game. This is going imp. I'd be shocked if this does not go imp. And if it goes imp, Byzantines, hand cannons, you know, cataphracts. They've got options. They've got really good options. No, I wasn't saying this was a TC. I was saying, like, okay, this is clearly a castle. Yes, thank you, chat. What I meant was, it wouldn't surprise me if we also see more TCs than there are now. This castle protects the area. Then we see another TC. Feels like a big army, big eco game. And now the cataphracts can come out. And you don't need a lot of cataphracts combined with a couple monks to deal with Huskarls. And Nikov's going to go for anarchy. I love the energy behind this from Nikov. To just YOLO spam Huskarls. That's what anarchy allows you to do from the barracks. I don't like what he's fighting into here. He's fighting into monks. He's fighting into cataphracts. That is an awful engagement for Nikov. That is as bad as it gets, really. He fought up the hill against strong units with no upgrades too. And Nikov is kind of falling apart. I think you have to remember with Byzantines, you can compete when you're down in res collected. Because a lot of your units are cheap. Or they have good value, right? And suddenly, Veleza is kind of back in business. And all those early bonuses that Nikov could get excited about are gone. Now Nikov's going to mix in pikemen. He doesn't have any of his Huskarls. What just happened? Pike and Huskarl's a good combo, but just pikemen now. And I think, knowing Nikov, he could start to sweat a little bit. He could just think like, oh man, I had this game. I love casting Nikov because he's just so messy at times, right? He's a player of such extremes. Like, anyone remember his game against Doubt in the 3v3 tournament? It was on Arctic Circle, I think? That game was sick. And it was just so funny, right? Nikov had the lead, and then Doubt went YOLO, and things got wild. Nikov is going to go Cav Archers? Alright, Goth Cav Archers are actually pretty good. Now, clearly, he's trying to think of things that he could do. Now, he's spreading out. We're going to have Huskarls maybe raiding the sides here for Nikov. That's really good if he can find damage. Remember, this barracks is still here from before, so he's producing from it. Veleza is on the way to the Imperial Age right now. And devotion research by Nikov is he's going to try and use that now to have the time to kill the monks. He will kill one of the monks. I don't know if he'll kill the second. The pikes are still here. I'd be fine with taking the engagements with the pikes against the catas. Yes, cataphracts are better than, say, knights against the pikes. But you still have a lot of units, and you just need to take some engagements here fast. Huskarl got converted over here, and now there's another one. This area gets defended, though. Veleza will build another castle. And Veleza's going to be imp! Veleza's going to be imp in 30 seconds! It's all falling apart for Nikov. And he can't exactly get raids in either when there's TCs everywhere. Not with pikemen, anyways. Nikov's collected 5,000 more resources. But does he have the units now? And can he find the damage? Veleza, I'd say first thing he needs to do is get chemistry here. Veleza needs to focus on ranged units here. I think he'll do that. The university's going up. Nikov also on the way to Imp. So, cataphracts are good against infantry, but the infantry's cheap, and you can spam them from all angles, potentially, right? Veleza also snagged 2 relics. He may end up snagging a 3rd. Sneak villager here from Nikov, though. Nikov might build some barracks in the back of Veleza's base. We've got pikemen. We've got cav archer. For Veleza, it is mainly eco and cataphract, but he's got plenty of resources right now. This villager, what should we name her? What does she look like? Definitely not a Jill. Definitely not a Jan. I don't know why we're going with J names. Brenda? Oh, that's definitely a Brenda. So Brenda has been selected because Nikov did select all idols, and he's sending Brenda back to work, I think. So Brenda might die. Oh, no. I actually think Brenda's very important. Oh, she's fighting! Well, that's not a very Brenda thing to do. I didn't know Brenda had the guts. Well, Brenda's dead. Rip Brenda. That actually might be important. I would have think it'd be great for Nikov to have some barracks in the back there. I do that so many times, though, if I have sneak vills. I just select all my idols and send them to work, and then they run across the map. It's an understandable problem. Nikov at almost 200 pop, and an imp with Goths, you can get up to 210. He's got tons of army. It's just all kind of randomly spread out. It's pikemen and it's cav archers. And we have another castle from Veleza. Veleza's just been, like, soaking up damage all game. And he still hasn't been broken. And how are you supposed to break Byzantines? It's not going to be easy with this many castles. But Nikov will have plenty of golden stone as well. Nikov has plenty of time to get techs that he hasn't been working with. There's still 30,000 gold left on the map. Nikov's going to go for cav archers. Goths do get heavy CA. A lot of people forget that. Nikov really needs to snag bloodlines, though. So Halb cav archer for Nikov. I don't mind it. But I think cataphract skirmisher is superior for the Byzantines. Provided you can keep the units alive and get there. Because right now, Nikov is doing a great job of keeping track of this army. And then here, the cataphracts get in. Nikov doesn't have any vision in the south. If you look at his fog of war, and then look at Veleza's fog of war. Veleza has buildings everywhere. Guys, Veleza has somehow stayed alive in this game. What a performance. What a crazy game, man. He's going to have skirms on the field. Skirms could be great against everything he's up against. But then maybe we see Huskarls again from the Goths. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Nikov's castle will go up. He's dropping barracks at home. It's messy, but he'll be fine. The big thing Nikov needs right now is to put on auto farm. He's got a lot of farms expiring. He's got to sort out his eco here, man. It's been really inefficient. Let's look at the overall efficiency. Worker efficiency last minute, 58%. Worker efficiency overall in this game, 62% versus 68%. It's just, Velez has done a great job with these little counterattacks at finding damage. And every time I look at Nikov, he's got villagers moving around. Castle, 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 castle. Probably soon another castle for Veleza. Like, he's just setting himself up to be in the ultimate late game situation, and then he's going to put his foot on the gas with more cataphracts, I assume. But Nikov's got 80 army. He's got cav archers over here. He's got halbs over here. Veleza can't keep up with him. How is Nikov in so many different spots at once right now? No wonder he doesn't have to focus on his farms. The guy's APM is through the roof right now. Crazy stuff from him. And as much as I'm confident in all the castles that the Byzantine player has, the fact that he's had to stack so many castles so close together is a sign that he hasn't really had a lot of control. His relics are also right here, by the way. There's 3 of them there. And he has kind of struggled a little bit when it comes to gold access. I'm sure he still has gold around, but couldn't take this gold, couldn't expand to this gold. Nikov could, in theory. Nikov's got a lot more villagers on gold right now. He's got 30 on gold. What's next? Elite Huskarl? Heavy Cav Archer, Elite Huskarl? Halb? Certainly have the gold available for it if you're Nikov. These cataphracts are not elite, remember. Nikov fixing that economy and trying to push the castles. Here comes relic number 4 casually. Back for Veleza. Veleza takes out the bombard cannon. Veleza almost 200 pop. Still no elite cataphracts. I think you need that upgrade. Nikov's going to go heavy scorpion. He's doing everything. Well, scorpions are affected by ballistics now. What do you guys think about that choice? I mean, in theory, scorpion could be better than, say, Cav Archer if there's skirms out. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay, so this castle will actually be denied, or at least delayed, because of the patrol from Nikov, meaning that Nikov's will probably go up. I don't foresee this castle staying up, but it's just pressure from Nikov. Here we go. Bombard cannon gets sniped again, so that's been an issue here for Nikov. I don't know if I like heavy scorpion in this situation because they're very clunky and very hard to control, but certainly the fact that they're affected by ballistics now for every civilization plays its role. And you have the Halbs in front of the Trep. And there's a lot of pressure here on Veleza. It actually was a much better fight than I was expecting. This castle was denied. Nikov's castle is going to go up. Nikov's pressure is non-stop here. And he does have 3 workshops fully queued with scorpions now. I kept waiting, guys. I kept feeling like eventually Veleza was going to be able to get the text and the numbers and you know, make it happen. But Nikov has just been on top of him non-stop. And it has not been easy for Veleza to get the text. He did get elite cataphract now, but he only has 12 of them. It just feels like too much pressure. And now Nikov's going to drop another castle on him. Another castle forward. This one's actually on the gold. And then this army's still back here, kind of protecting the stone and the gold. There are bombard cannons for Veleza. So he's not finished yet. Those bombard cannons are there for the scorpions. And Nikov snipes the bombard cannon with the CA. And that's actually a really decent fight here for Nikov. The Halbs in front, scorpions behind is perfect. Say goodbye, cataphracts. And still these 2 Trebs are firing on this castle. There's no more stone income for Veleza. So if he loses his castles, he's not going to get more of them. And he doesn't notice that Nikov has dropped a castle here. Nikov is just simply faster, man. He's simply just bringing more speed to the table. Veleza is still trying to hold. And I think he can. I actually think he can. The Skirm Cataphract Bombard Cannon will kill 1 Treb. We'll kill 2 Trebs. We'll kill 3 Trebs. We'll kill the Scorpions as well. The Bombard Cannon goes down, which is pretty brutal. But he's still holding on here somehow. And Nikov's Cav Archers just killed more villagers back there, though. Now Nikov's going to switch to Elite Huskarl. So Nikov's, like, researched so much in this game. We're seeing everything, man. But he doesn't have attack upgrades or armor upgrades for the infantry, and that's going to be important. This castle is also huge. The Treb coming out to pressure this castle is amazing. These CA were relocated to get the raids. These Huskarls keeping an eye on the stone. So, yeah, bombard cannons are the best play against scorpions like this. But I think Nikov has reached a point where if he gets perfusion, he could just go full infantry. And even against cataphracts, he could just run in there and snipe the bombard cannons. I'm still not a fan. Like, guys, Nikov needs to get his farm count up. He needs to get more than 27 on food. But he's constantly focused on the engagements. There's perfusion now. Scorpions are starting to get picked off here. The bombard cannons are really tricky to deal with here. Maybe Nikov should not rely on the scorpions after all. He's backing away. This is getting awkward for him, but he's still got the pressure over here, and this is all that matters, right? Maybe you can give up the middle if you take the north with all this gold. And he hasn't lost the middle yet. Still holding. Still has upgrades he needs. But look at those resources for Veleza. What's the number of cataphracts where the Goths just have no chance, guys? Like, let's say Veleza's going to run out of gold before Nikov, right? But if he can just use the gold that he has right now to get to a certain number. I'm thinking, you guys think 40. 40 with Logistica? I agree. Is it 20 now? And Nikov's definitely going to lose this castle. And Nikov's got to fix his eco and wait for that to kick in. He's just doing that now. Nikov's going to lose another bombard cannon. Velez is up to 50 on food. Velez is still got... I mean, he's so little gold. He only has 700 gold here and then this gold. That's it. But he does have 4 relics. Is Veleza going to win this game and come back from the dead again? Or are Byzantines ever out of it? Oh, man. Oh, no, not the bombard cannons! Well, good luck getting bombard cannons back. I think it's so helpful for Nikov that he has control of this gold. I'm looking around for his gold access. He might run out as well. But no, he's still got really good control on the different areas. We'll even drop a castle here. I think heavy CA Halb is maybe the safer play than committing to Elite Huskarl all the time. But at the very least, Nikov needs to make sure he gets those attack upgrades in. I love the consistent focus on stopping Veleza from taking resources. Like, at the end of the game, if Nikov wins this, it will be because of that more than anything. He's just continually pressuring somewhere else. Right when Veleza starts to stabilize a position, Nikov's like, nope, never mind. Sniping his monks here. Beautiful play. And these raids on the side make me... They're building up my confidence in Nikov here. He has both unique techs. He's got 50 on food now. He's got attack upgrades coming in. Halb, Huskarl, heavy CA, and Veleza just can't breathe. It must be so frustrating to have to deal with this. He does take a fight on top of the hill with cataphracts, though. He does have 30 CA. Or not CA, sorry, cataphracts. I guess technically that's CA. CAT? Huskarls from Nikov? This is the danger with Goths, right? It's like, whoop! Right away, you got new Huskarls to respond to a treb. That's why you want to build barracks everywhere. You almost want to use your barracks like you would use stables for other civs. Just sneak them into corners and spam infantry into their eco. Huskarls are also really cheap compared to a cataphracts. Halbs don't cost any gold. I think... I would be really fixated on these relics if I were Nikov, but I probably wouldn't be as fixated in this corner anymore. And I think the relics are less important than the corner for now. But the relics will be important. And look at this, dude. Look at this. For a second, Velez is exposed, and Nikov just auto-produces out of the barracks and snipes 1, 2. He's going to get at least 3 of these bombard cannons. If he had Blast Furnace, the bombard cannons would have gone down so much faster. He didn't get 3, actually. But Nikov's winning the fight here. And he's repairing this castle, and he's probably going to bring his army over here to deal with this. Man, Perfusion is insane. Yeah, Nikov's just... Oh, he's got the perfect position. Nikov might have him now. This is way too big an army for Veleza to deal with. His siege also cannot escape. There's no way this siege gets to safety now. So it's expected the treb goes down. It's expected the bombard cannons go down. Nikov over here is being trebbed, so that's interesting. We'll see. He might lose that castle. But he will take out the siege and defend here like we expected. Veleza back on this stone. Veleza back on this gold. 12k gold left on the map. And 1,100 of it... 3,500 of it is here. And then there's the relics. And now Velez is pushing back this castle. What a game. Velez is still not dead, man. Big halb raid, though. Ooh, nice raid there from Nikov. But Veleza's castle should protect the stone and the gold. This castle's nice because then you just don't have to think about this anymore. I don't know. The Scorpions, I don't know if they ever really impressed me much. Veleza, for the first time in a long time, is thinking about raids. He's going to try and raid with Hussar. Nikov's got idle villagers. He doesn't have castles up here. Guys, I think Veleza can still win this freaking game. What's happening? The Scorpions for Nikov went down. Nikov can't raid over here anymore. Nikov is losing his trebs over here. He could lose his castle over here. Veleza could get access to more gold. The raids in the north have found value. Nikov has 48 on stone? I think he just sent all of his idols to stone in a panic. I hope it's not 48 on the same stone. There's not enough space there. What in the world? Maybe he's come down to this stone as well. Nikov does not have a CA mass anymore. Nikov is starting to go for his own cav upgrades, and maybe just a really bad sign if that is what he is doing right now. Veleza has continually taken good engagements. He's had the better army. He stayed in this game after the rough start. And what do you think about when you think long-term in a game? You think relics? Advantage Veleza. You think castle positions? Advantage Veleza. And then you think tech tree? Advantage Veleza. And wow, Nikov didn't have bloodlines for his cav archers this entire time. Which I actually remember thinking in Castle Age, but it completely slipped my mind. Clearly slipped his mind as well. So his cav archers were way squishier than they really should have been. Veleza's got access to more than enough gold. And he's in a position now to get access to this gold. This is pretty much all the gold that's left. The corner Veleza has, which he has locked down. And then this area here. That's it. There's not much more gold to mine, really. Love to see Veleza get Logistica. Get even more value from these cataphracts. But these cataphracts are owning, dude! They're owning! Veleza's insane! How has he stayed alive? Nikov said so much pressure at him all game. But the skirms, the katas, the siege, even the monk healing. Which is such nice value here. It's perfect, guys. And you can just tell, looking at Nikov's eco balance, that he's completely falling apart. He's going from like 40 on food to 20 on food to 0 on wood to 50 on wood. He's just transferring vills all around and trying to stabilize. 72 on gold. He's got 38 of those villagers here. And he has no army here to defend it. He has to try and engage against this to save them. And if he engages, he probably loses the engagement. There's also like nothing in this corner anymore for him. Where are we on wood? Still 100k, I guess. And Nikov, most of Nikov's wood's going to be towards the north now. It's a shame. I think a lot of people are thinking maybe throw right now for Nikov. But it's always going to be a really difficult matchup for the Goths here. That's expected. For any civ, really. And Veleza... like, Nikov had him on the ropes so many times. Nikov obviously still in this game. But does it get any better for him tech-wise? I'm not so sure. Those 4 relics for Veleza will bring him a trickle of gold on top of the gold that he's just gained access to. And then he is in the better gold position so he can continue with this comp. Right now, more than anything, he really just needs skirms. Like, skirms handle the CA and skirms handle the halbs. That is not where you want your cav archers if you're Nikov. I like the castle here from Nikov because that protects the north, which was vulnerable. I like this castle too because that protects them from raids. I think Nikov maybe needs to try to get a bunch of Huskarl numbers. Just hope that the Huskarls can clear out the skirms. I don't know what else to suggest. You have to try Huskarls. That or just a bigger ball of CA, I guess. But he's at 200 pop already. Veleza stacking a Treb there perfectly. Has stonewalled this area. Still lots of stone and gold available over here. Veleza was thinking about a castle there on the hill. That would be a castle that you place if you feel like you can go for the kill. I would say that maybe a castle here just to take this gold is more than fine. Nikov trying to raid with random Huskarls. This really needs to be walled up by Veleza. And big fight. Here we go. Big fight. There are halbs on cataphracts. This is before Logistica completes for Veleza. Logistica is a crazy upgrade for the Catas when they take their engagements. And honestly, most of the Catas have gone down. Nikov maybe taking a good enough fight here. But Veleza will have Logistica. He's got Hussars in the queue. He's got so many resources to work with. He's taken the score lead. And Nikov's army count is so low compared to what it was before. He used to have 70 army at all times. Now he's just at 50. Oh, man. Remember, whoever plays in this game cannot play later on in the 2v2. So to miss out on Nikov and then be in that 2v2 and then be down 2-0 would be so painful for Argentina here. But Nikov doesn't have a single relic up against 4 relics, up against Byzantines. And this is not looking good. If Veleza gets this castle up, it would be maybe the game-ending position for him to lock down. It locks down the side. It locks down the stone. It locks down the gold. But Nikov denies the castle and snipes the bombard cannon. Sick find from Nikov. A little sloppy from Veleza as Veleza gets some Castle Age Eco upgrades that he should have had a long time ago. Here come the Vils to probably finish that castle now. There's enough army here to protect it. Ooh, hold on. An opportunity here. I'm not sure what happened. I thought there were walls. Now Nikov's going to aim to snipe the trap. So Veleza's got 0 on gold right now. So this gold on the right side is huge. In fact, this is the only gold that's really remaining on the map, guys. This 300, this 3,500 gold is all right here. So Veleza gets it. Veleza gets it, and then his civilization has cheap spears and cheap skirms and solid enough cav, right? So, big advantage for Veleza. And he has the relics. But Nikov has score lead. If cataphracts aren't an issue, is this winner, like, let's say, all the gold gets mined, Veleza still has the relics, but he can't justify making cataphracts because 4 relics can't really afford you a lot of cataphracts. I could see full halb spam and skirms working for the Goths, just because the halb spam so quickly. Production speed and also they're cheap as well, right? There's also stone here, which Nikov might take. But I guess cataphracts are an issue. And if Nikov loses this corner, loses this position, he probably loses the game. So he's desperately trying to hold this position right now. And it's halb CA. Still only like 14 cav archers, but the halbs have done a good enough job. The halbs are also... Look at Nikov dropping barracks here. The halbs are also pestering away at the trebuchets. And now another castle for Veleza. Oh my goodness. And that means he'll probably take control of that 1,500 stone and get 2 more castles out of it. Nikov, 200 population. Veleza, 30 population. The fight from these two has been unbelievable. Right when you think one player's going to break, they refuse to. It's been the whole game, right? So many people were saying this was over 10 minutes ago and that Nikov would finally lose this one. But he just keeps coming, guys. And he's going to take the Treb. He's going to take a bombard cannon. This is extremely wasteful for Veleza, who doesn't have cataphract numbers anymore. And he probably can't believe it. He's got like 7 castles. And Nikov is still finding damage. What a game. And I think a lot of it is just Nikov's got barracks everywhere and his units produce instantly. And the rally points for Veleza are all jumbled up because he's been having to produce and fight on both sides. So it just hasn't been easy to pay attention to every detail. And also, cataphracts. You're just not seeing them anymore. It's been mainly Hussars. I think he needs to get back to the skirm numbers, honestly. This is Nikov's final moment. Because Veleza is trying to stabilize things. And I thought he was going to have this gold locked down, but he doesn't. And so Nikov will have Trebs, Nikov will mix in some Rams, and he could actually take this gold back and maybe do it. The left side's not as important because there's only 100 gold there, and Nikov might take that. But the right side is kind of everything right now. Not to mention wood becomes a talking point. The wood is actually where, you know, the left side is important for Nikov. Nikov snagging some eco upgrades. Nikov re-patrolling his halbs here. Skirm count is getting higher for Veleza. He's got no gold income except for those 4 relics right now, though. And if Nikov sees an opportunity to snipe the bombard cannon, you know he's going to try it again. But this time, Velez is paying attention. And Nikov loses some of his cav archers there. Nikov may try and use hussars here to snipe that Treb, but it's all walled in. Good luck killing villagers elsewhere with these castles defensively for Veleza. Veleza has a lot of stone to repair yet, but there's Rams now. And so Rams with the halbs are the issue. And Nikov's been able to take some of this gold at least. He did also snag 1 relic. He's up to 60 on food with crop rotation. So as farms reseed, having crop rotation becomes huge. You're saving a lot more wood in what is essentially a wood game. I said we would go imp. I didn't think we'd go this far into the game. And Argentina needs this win to tie up the series. Otherwise, they have to win 3 straight team games against Finland here. I think the extra little population space that Goths have and the crazy spam speed of Goths is making a massive difference here, guys. And Nikov's just straight up tenacity has been unbelievable. He's got 25 hussars. He's got 30 halbs. He's got rams. He'll take this castle down. And you have to be really careful right now if you're Veleza that you don't lose the bombard cannons too. Because if Nikov sees those, he will pounce on them. I could hardly believe the game that we've seen here because I thought both players were dead at so many different points. And Nikov sees the bombard cannons, kills the bombard cannons. He will take the castle. And even though they're both almost max pop, advantage Nikov as he gets control over this gold, finally. And here come the Vils to take it. Now, the crazy thing is, there's no castle up here for Nikov anymore. So he could be raided, and he's got 50 lumberjacks. But the gold means you can make Huskarls. Or maybe you just use the gold for CA, I'm not sure. But I feel like being able to make some Huskarls could be really important against so many skirmishers. Now, there's like, how much gold is here? There's 1,800 gold here. There's still a little bit over here. 1,800 gold could get you up to a cav archer mass that you're happy with. You also might want to use some gold for just rams at this point. When there's limited gold, you'll see players just use all their gold for siege usually, so. But 1,800 is pretty significant. I think it's really smart that Veleza is starting to go into infantry upgrades. I think he's prepping for the stage where he just has to go for pikes himself. I don't know if he's fully prepared to do that, though. And Nikov is finding the pickoffs. I don't think Veleza can easily get the gold to go for halb himself. That's a lot of gold. Veleza is actually running really low on wood, too. It's actually worth it to just chop all the forward trees that you can. Right? Chop the exposed wood while you can before it gets bad. Nikov has no trees in the back anymore. There's only 50,000 wood remaining in this game. And it would have started in the hundreds of thousands. We've seen almost 2,000 units die in this game. Nikov has 30 more villagers, though. Just has to be careful with his cav archers. I don't think it's worth losing all your gold units here against skirms. We even have fortified wall from Veleza. He's desperate to hold this area in the north. I love the Hussar play from Nikov. Who would have thought? Goth Cav Archers. Goth Hussar. Goths beating Byzantines in late game. Really curious on the amount of production buildings. So what is it? 5 ranges. We got how many stables in total? Probably more ranges too. So there's only 7 stables for Veleza. Nikov has 16. And then Nikov has, with barracks, 15. So Nikov's just got so many buildings. No wonder he always has more army. And then he also has the Goth bonus of the extra production speed as well. Yeah, I think the key for Veleza is Halb. You need 600 gold for that. And oh boy, he's going to get back over here to the gold. Nikov's going to notice that. Oh, and Nikov's going to take the relics. That's huge. That's so smart. I think you take the relics and you keep constant focus on this. As long as he can't take them back, you're happy. You don't even need to steal them yourself. There's 700 golds here that Nikov gives up. But I forgot the relics were on the front. And choo-choo, choo-choo. Nikov comes in with the Rams. But now 0 gold income for Veleza until he takes this gold. Does Nikov have a monk on the way? Oh, here he comes. Pick it up, old man. Pick it up. Come on. Go get that relic. TCs are also huge in late game, right? Players are continually producing bills. Grinding down TCs is really important. The monk died. Villagers will die. But I still really like the progress Nikov has made here, despite the fact that it's become so much harder to break Veleza on this side now. I refuse to believe that Veleza will be broken because of this. I refuse to believe that we are anywhere close to finish to this game. There's 50,000 wood remaining. I think this game continues. We got raids from Veleza in the back. He's finding damage too. He's kind of holding here. Sort of, kind of. The Hussars are looping around at the back corner of his base. Both players are taking damage. And sure, Veleza doesn't have relics temporarily, but he does still have army nearby where the relics are. He can always reclaim them, and he's mining gold right now. Nikov's lost a lot of vills too. What a game. What a crazy game. Man, the Hussar count from Nikov has been sick. The Hussar count from Nikov has been sick, and we haven't seen a lot of Halbs from Veleza yet. He did get the upgrade, but the Hussar meat shield has pushed back that wall of skirms. And the cav archers that Nikov has remaining really help out once the Halbs come in too. Oh wow, Nikov also killed a Treb here with Halbs and is going to send the Halbs directly towards the corner. Nikov has really impressed me here. He's so fast. It's very rare that you can tell someone is just faster than Veleza. And the GG is called! Nikov wins it for Argentina. Never a doubt. Never a doubt in my mind. He produced 745 Halbs. He had Hussars galore on the field, and I think Veleza at this point just didn't feel like he had anything. And look at his resources remaining. He's really stuck. He can't afford much. He did have some units in queue, but it was only like 15 units. And when everything's out of the queue after you resign, he only had 934 food. And I think Veleza just felt the pressure, knew he would never get the relics back, and that Nikov had full wood control at this point. What a game. And now 1-1 here in the full series. Argentinians are going to be pumped about that, and they'll go into game number 3 in a 3v3, where, of course, Nikov and Veleza can play. Where they will not be able to play is the 2v2, which is game number 4. So Nikov, despite not having the relics, he still collected more gold in that game, just because of more map control. He had a lot more wood there. Look at the KD. I really thought Nikov had lost the game. What could Veleza have done differently? I think, I'm just really surprised that Veleza got outproduced, I guess. I think Veleza might have just needed more production buildings, in all honesty. That's the one thing that was the big difference. Like 6 stables on this side, and Nikov's got like 13 stables in the middle. I think the Hussar numbers were, even though they both produced similar amounts of Hussars, it felt like the speed of the reinforcements was the biggest thing there for Nikov. I think that and Veleza never had a ball of like 40 katas. He never went for a big, massive katas. He always just had a few. And I think if he had a bigger ball of cataphracts, he could have maybe snowballed. He had this hill at one point, and had he pushed any further, Nikov might have tapped. What a game. And now we have a series.